Greetings, everyone. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about my experience growing up around Rastafarians, and ultimately, growing up to really admiring them, my relationship with them since I was young until this very day. Now on the screen, there's a Rastaman, and I'm really checking him out. If any of you know who this Rastaman is, please let him know the Queen has summoned him, because I got some business with this Rastaman. Anyway, I grew up in a place in Jamaica called Pink Lane. I think it's in Denham Town. If any of you on here know Denham Town, drop a comment in the comment section. And I used to see these Rastafarians, and not Rastafarians that have locks the way mine is defined. I mean real Bobo Shanti, with the hair growing wild. And you could see women and men wearing slippers made from car tire. They were authentical, or article as they would say. And they kind of just stayed in a community called Pink Lane. The kids at the time didn't go to school because, they were not allowed to go to school because they had locks. They would be told they would have to cut the locks before they can come to school. And of course, you always had this assumption from then until now that Rastafarians' head is just full with lies. So the discrimination that was towards these persons, unfounded discrimination, was just something to talk about. And yet, in a culture like Jamaica, where they were so prejudiced, where they still are very prejudiced, these individuals held their ground. And I talked about Coral Garden before. And so you know the history and what they had to face with the government at the time. And fast forward from that, I went to live in another parish where I grew up. And there were a lot of Rastafarians in the community where I came from. I mean, Rastafarians where you could see three lock, like three, thick, how it's not a strand because they would just part it in three and it would just grow wild. There's something about that used to terrify me and fascinate me at the same time. Now they used to have every year they used to have what is called a Naya Bingi, where the Rastafarians from around Jamaica would converge in our community and they would beat the kettle drum and they would chant. And I was so fascinated with these individuals. Terrified, of course, because of what we were told. Now, there's a particular Rastaman that they used to refer to as Rasta George. He was like a king. He was so tall, maybe 6'5", 6'6", and probably weighed 200 pounds. And when he walked, his steps were like a leopard. And he had this long rod that he would walk with these prangs at the top. And it was painted in red, green, and gold. I remember seeing him one day when I was going to the shop, coming towards me, and my little leg shook so badly. But as I said, as I was fascinated with them, I was also terrified. Then, when I was a teenager, I moved to the city. Well, this is Spanish Town. And I met a family friend. Now, this is a real article Rastaman. And he would invite me to his house and just reason with me. Bless up yourself, Dudley. He would reason with me. I spent an entire day in his house with the door locked, not even thinking this is a man and I'm a female, I'm a young girl and he's an older guy. The man was just so respectful. At that time, any child that is in the presence of a Rasta man would have been safe because that was my experience. And so, I go back to another time when my aunt had a Rastafarian friend, a much younger guy than, of course, her age, but he was, she was like a mother figure to him. And when he would come around, he would sit in the kitchen, those outside kitchen, with me as I do the dishes at night and just talk. And he had the most beautiful voice there ever was. I think his name was Tony. So my experience with Rastafarians have been very positive in spite of the negative things that have been shown to us. When I met this special Rastaman in Jamaica. I thought he was so fascinated. They were fascinating. There were times when he would say things to me that I would take a double take to say, is this guy for real? The first interesting thing about this Rastaman is when I would talk to him about God, I would sometimes have to ask him, or he would talk to me about God. I would have to ask him, which one are you talking about? Is this your dad or is this the one that they say is in heaven? Because I couldn't tell the difference between his father and who he considered to be God. It was the most interesting thing that I ever heard, simultaneously associating godlike status to his father. It was the first time I ever heard anybody speak that way. I always had to say, so who are we talking about? Are we talking about your earthly father? Or are you talking about your father in heaven? And so I have learned a lot from Rastafarians. I have been taught a lot by Rastafarians. I'm very fascinated by Rastafarians. I'm very disappointed in today's Rastafarian because the today's Rastafarian are no different from what they used to call bald head. The kind of things that they're engaging in, the kind of attention seeking. Now, people say, oh, well, this person is not a Rastafarian, because the locks doesn't make you Rasta. But the truth is, a lot of persons who grew their hair and allow it to lock would change, even if they didn't start out that way. They would change. I can literally tell you when I started growing my locks, I am a completely different, a 360-degree kind of different to who I was before. I was always very calm, very quiet, very shy, all that stuff. But you know, I was on a surface person. I was not as, deep as I am in my spirituality. I've always been somebody who, feel comfortable searching to know more about the universe, more about spirituality. I've always been that person from I was a child. But when I started growing my lock, certain downloads started coming to me. This is why I know for sure that Rastafarians have to be very special to live in this world, even at this time. And now, when I see the people who still refer to themselves as Rastafarian indulging in some low vibration, it just baffles me. Really, really baffles me. These Rastafarians in the community where I grew up mainly were farmers, or they sold broom, and just natural living, just natural eating, no meat, you know um no loose life. No, it was natural for you to see a Rasta man with a woman with 5, 10 children, all their women in one place. Some of the Rastafarians from my childhood until now, one such person, Muta Baruka, have always maintained this kind of fierceness, a ferocious kind of personality, even though if truth be told, sometimes I wonder what's going on with my friend Mota Baruka, but I'm not here to judge anybody, because over time it just seemed like Rastafari have, converged on easy street, and we can no longer look towards them, to show us the example. Now, I know not every Rastafarian have gone low on us. I'm just saying that, wow, we are the old, the elders, the Rasta, the hardcore Rasta man who was looking for the opportunity to teach the young people to lead by example. We're not seeing that anymore. You see Rasta promoting material things, Rasta talking about threesome, Rasta, engaging in all kind of things, Rasta trying to use social media to get attention, to say that they're being blackmailed, and I just don't get it. I don't get it. These were the moral compass in our community. And I'm not sure where they are because they seem to be distinguishing. But I know that there's still some real article Rastamen in Jamaica and around the world. And I really admire them. I really admire them. Every person I know who have trod that road understand a few things that the typical person doesn't understand. And so madness has been ascribed to Rastafarians over the years because, you have to be mad in the eyes of society to allow your hair to grow that way, to live like that. But when you think about it, these ones today, the real article or authentic Rastafarians today, are the ones who are going to escape all these things that you're seeing happening in the world. They are the only ones that are going to escape because, first of all, they never ever mix up with Babylon, and so they're not going to join now. They're not going. They're always prepared to burn a fire and you know ridiculous things that are happening in the world. The real Rastaman is never afraid of the system. The real Rastaman is willing to stand up and die for what he believes in, which is the principle for which Rastafarianism is based on. But that is slowly dying, and we're not seeing these ones hold on to their fundamental beliefs like they used to. Now, they can be bought. Some of them, that is, are for sale like anyone else. A certain Rastaman came out and did an interview on TV in Jamaica, and they said Rasta have to grow. Rasta can't do like the other Rastas that, Rasta have to want nice things and want good life. And after he made that statement, he flopped. So many negative things started to be attached to him. But the truth is, I'm glad he said that because under the radar, this Rastaman was low and was getting involved in some terrible things. And he's just spiraling, just spiraling. Meanwhile, the real Rastaman up in the hills continue to plant his marijuana, continue to, plant his food and eat natural and eat out of his gourdy. Big up to the Rasta men in the world today. Bless up yourself. We need you. Our children still need you. You still play a very pivotal role in raising our next generation. Step forward.